The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
I'm sure many of you have already read this story. Zookeepers have killed 2 lions to save a man who was suicidal and jumped in there naked to get killed by lions. It's a hell of a way to go. This happened in Chile, and so this guy strips down, jumps into the pen, and began taunting these cats. They instinctively attacked him.
Right.
Now, first, the zookeepers try to shoot tranquilizers at the lions. Well,
my guess is that it would take just slightly too long for those to take effect.
Well, if they even hit the lion. However, it struck the man in the neck.
Oh, no.
So now you have this guy struck in the neck with tranquilizers meant for a lion, which, I don't know. Probably the most fucked up I've ever been is nothing compared to this.
To be hit with a lion tranquilizer?
That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
So, anyway, unfortunately, or is it unfortunate? I'll get to this. The zookeepers shot the lions with live rounds. They died a short time after. The guy was rushed to a health clinic and, last I knew, was in critical condition.
Yeah.
And it is believed that he left a suicide note. Now, people are criticizing about the handling of the incident. Of course, people are condemning the zookeepers for killing the lions.
Yeah. And
park zoo protocol was followed. I guess protocol is that when a person's life is at risk, you have to sacrifice the animals. The shooter decided to save the life of the person, and unfortunately, we had to sacrifice 2 members of our family. They had been residents at the zoo for more than 20 years. Now, this may be insensitive, but I say let all involved be put out of their misery.
So you're saying this guy wanted to die, so why did they have to kill 2 lions when this guy was trying to die?
Well, there's that, but there's also 2 lions that are probably completely miserable and have been in captivity for 20 years. I mean, a zoo is no place for a lion.
So this is just your anti-zoo sentiment.
Partially,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a good chance that, like the vegan black metal chef said, that the day these lions were killed might have been the best day of their lives.
Mm.
And a zoo is no place for a lion, and anyone who disagrees with that, unless it's for some reason being rehabilitated and will then be released, a zoo is no place for a lion. And I do have strong anti-zoo and aquarium sentiment.
Now, what about a big aquarium where the fish really have plenty of room?
If we're talking about fish, the fish aren't so bad, but it's when we get into the cetaceans and other mammals, and that's not good.
I haven't been to the Boston Aquarium in a long time. I kind of am wondering what they have. But
Don't do it. Do not give them even a penny.
From what I've heard, they have some pretty big stingrays in spaces that, to the untrained eye, it's been reported to me, seem a little small for the size of some of those stingrays. I don't know for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, many of them are small. You can get the giant mantas that are, those things get massive.
That's what I'm talking about. The people have been there and they say the tank that they're in doesn't really seem like it makes sense given how big they are.
Oh, so you're telling me that they are big, but the tank is really small.
That's right.
Ah, okay. Well, yes. Now you know why I don't support aquariums.
Yeah. The question at this zoo with the killing of the lions is the policy, right? And if you have a policy that if you can prevent animals from killing a human, you do it, then you shouldn't really take into consideration whether the man fell in or deliberately jumped in because he was suicidal. That's certainly not a call that should be made by the employees. The bigger question is the general policy.
Yeah, I suppose. Anyway, I applaud this man for going out in grand fashion. That's, although what he did was cause a lot of trouble for a lot of people.
Yeah. I always hear from people, and I think there were some comments from city people in the comments to this, and you know where I'm going, where there's this what feels very insensitive sentiment from people in cities who rely on public transportation, because it's pretty widely known that a way that sometimes people will commit suicide is jumping in front of a subway train. And if you want to talk about messing with your commute, that's certainly a way that if you want to shut down the entire subway system in Boston, or at least an entire line or a significant piece of the city in New York City, even though the system there is so big that you can sometimes not even affect most parts of it by doing that. That's a way, right? Which is jumping in front of a train. And there are so many comments from people saying, hey, at least this guy didn't jump in front of the subway, because that really would have messed this up for a lot more people,
Yeah,
which feels incredibly insensitive.
Oh, whatever. I mean, Dave, how many people commit suicide a day? How many people die a day?
Many.
I mean, it's just, yeah. There's a time for sensitivity. This isn't one of them.
Wow.
All right. Here's something kind of scary, actually. We've talked about the giant alligators that have been captured in Florida.
Right.
But it appears now that there are Nile crocodiles that have somehow made it to Florida.
I wish I still don't get the difference between a crocodile and an alligator. I wish
Crocodiles are generally much bigger.
I did.
Yeah.
But there has to be another difference other than just size.
I'm sure there are differences,
Yeah.
but if you want the clearest difference,
Is that clear though? Because if you see a picture of a crocodile or alligator with no frame of reference to know the size, by your logic you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But I know people can tell the difference by just looking at them. So there must be other differences.
there are differences for
Okay,
sure.
good.
There are differences.
Glad we agree.
And on top of that, you have freshwater crocs, you have saltwater crocs, there are differences.
The ones in your toilet are which? I forget now.
Those are alligators.
Okay.
Yeah. A very small alligator. So anyway, this article says that Nile crocodiles, when we're talking about the Nile River, of course, in Africa, can grow to be 21 feet long, and they can actually get bigger than that. There are some monsters out there.
Wow.
These are the things that you see grabbing a wildebeest by the leg and then dragging it back into the water and drowning it. That's how big and how powerful these things are.
Insane.
It's incredible. And the 4 of them have been found in Florida. Nobody knows how they got there. They say they're not breeding. But Florida already had one major issue with the giant snakes that somehow, well, I suppose people own them and then let them free, and now they're like wreaking havoc. I wonder if these are going to do the same. Imagine that, Dave. You walk out. You're walking by a stream in Florida, and out of it comes a 20-foot Nile croc.
Right. I don't know if this is related, but on Reddit the other day, I saw a picture of a golf course, and there was the putting green area, and the headline was something like, course is closed today, and there was a gigantic alligator or crocodile running across the putting green, and people running for their lives. I don't know if it was in Florida and at all related to this story, but the timing of it makes me wonder if it was. You know how some animals are vicious in the water, but on land they really can't move around very quickly? Do you know with alligators and or crocodiles, are they relatively fast on land?
They have some good burst speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're not really the type of creature that will. It's not like they're actively chasing prey that often on land. I
Right.
mean, that's not really their style. And if you look at videos of Steve Irwin, when he was basically, I don't know what you'd call it,
Wrestling crocodiles?
I mean, if you, they have their mouth open, they're ready to strike. And if you kind of imagine a circle around them from their tail to their mouth,
Right.
if you avoid that area, you're out of like immediate danger, because they can very quickly turn. And of course, getting hit with the tail, I mean, on some of these big ones is enough to shatter your ribs or break
Right.
bones. And I mean, if they get their jaws on you, you're in serious trouble.
Might this not be, people might remember Lewis used to be in a heavy metal band, and they had a lot of concept albums. One was about the brutality of the insect world, as we know, silkworms and butterflies and that type of thing. And then they had another one which was basically a story of a man who had malaria, and it was pretty brutal subject matter. I think that there's something in the alligator crocodile world that a capable metal band could be able to do a concept album around.
I'm totally open to that.
Yeah.
Fascinated by the creatures, Dave. They are impressive creatures. They demand respect.
They command respect.
Yeah, I suppose that's more appropriate. All right. Did I talk about when BMX biking star Dave Mirra killed himself? Did we mention that?
I don't think so.
Okay. When this happened a short time ago, maybe the most popular name in the world of BMX biking, he killed himself. And I thought to myself immediately, it's CTE. Without a doubt, it's CTE. This is a rough sport. You're always getting banged around. You're falling. You're getting concussions. I was right. He had CTE. And CTE very frequently leads to depression. And many football players have killed themselves because of it.
Junior Seau, a notable example, right? Yeah.
Junior Seau, yep. So sad, but I think we're getting to the point now when everything is going to be under the microscope when it comes to CTE. I mean, every sport, hockey, skateboarding, BMX biking, all of those extreme sports.
Yep.
I mean,
now I've even been reading increasingly there are concerns about soccer players headbutting the ball. And if you don't do it right, what I've read is even doing it right, it can still be a problem, but definitely if you're not experienced and you do it incorrectly, sort of by moving your entire head, sort of like swiveling your head on the neck as opposed to like using your entire upper body, then that it can even be a problem. And my little sister's soccer league has now actually banned all headbutting. They've determined that until the kids are of a certain age where they can be taught the proper technique, they're putting a moratorium on all headbutting until they know more about this. Now, this is a pretty, liberal, aware, earthy, crunchy part of Massachusetts. So I don't think this is the policy nearly anywhere, broadly speaking, but at least they've decided under 14, no headbutting whatsoever.
They're probably not as big a concern, the headbutting in soccer. I mean, it's a little bit different. But I mean, is it? There's no way it's good for you. But
Right.
I don't think soccer players have to worry. I could be wrong, but
the science suggests you're wrong to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it is dealing damage, but it's probably pretty minuscule amount of damage. Banging your head around is just not good in any situation.
Right.
I mean, we know that. So,
By the way, headbanging and heavy metal music can't possibly be good for you.
no, I don't really do it. I have very, very mild headbanging.
You do more of like the hardcore thing where you flail your arms, right? And your head is sort of stable and not your brain isn't sloshing around.
I don't do that at all.
Oh.
All
That's
right.
what I meant.
Mira's widow told ESPN magazine that she noticed mood changes before her husband's death. Quote, he wasn't able to be present in any situation or conversation, so it was hard to be in a relationship with him to any degree. He was lost. I looked straight through him on a few occasions and was like, where are you? What is wrong? Sad.
Yeah.
That is sad. Anything to add?
No, I mean, a lot of these sports are going to be under the microscope. We've talked about football and UFC.
Yep. That's it. So, be careful. Careful with your noggin.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.